asked me, did my sister ever give me any advice, okay, about my singing and my whatever. And that was the coolest thing. She never did. She always let me go and dye my hair purple and sing rock and roll and do all of that, and she supported everything that I ever did. And I ran away, okay, from my legacy for a really long time, because it's really overwhelming, okay? It really was, until I finally sat down. I said, I have to face this, and I have to make friends with this, and I have to do this. And then when I decided to do songs my mother taught me, I said, I'm finally ready to do this. My mom always loved finding songs about cities she adored. A foggy day in London town had me low.
Certainly the recognition now is wonderful. And they're beginning to see what depth of character and what she's come through, how she's dealt with her demons, with humor and hope and honesty.
What else is new? And I loved it.
Really all I did was I put it together with the two most brilliant writers that we have today. Their names are Ken and Missy Welch.
I remember the first meeting we had with you.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, here's what we won't do. We will not just work with you getting up and singing a bunch of your mom's songs. Doesn't interest me. It's like, so?
So? Who cares?
It's not theatrical. And so then when we thought of songs my mother taught me, and it became a whole kind of book show for a one woman.
When Lorna told me that she had inherited all of those spectacular, heart-stopping arrangements, and she wanted to put together an evening that would pay tribute to her mother, the only people that could do it right were Ken and Missy Welch.
And through foggy London town the sun was shining.
For about a year, they worked on how did you tell this story and get across the genius that was Judy Garland through the eyes of her daughter.
And what I'm so happy about is that everybody's going to see this wonderful show of hers. This show is dynamite. She walks out there, you know, and that voice comes out.
I've said to Lorna a lot of times, I'm sorry, baby, you have to do this. This is your great work in life. You have to keep this going, because your mother was the only one. She was the top of the pyramid.
Well, the show starts with a film clip from my mother's 1962 television show. It was called The Judy Garland Show. And it starts with her saying to her audience, I have another child. And she's pretty angry because nobody ever wrote a song for Lorna. And she talks about how she got her dear friend Mort Lindsay, who was the conductor of her show, and the famous lyricist Johnny Mercer, to write a song called Lorna. And I was sitting in the audience, as I did every Friday, and I had no idea she was going to do this. And she brought me out of the audience, and I was 11 years old, and she sang Lorna to me.
Lorna, I can't believe what I see. What I see astounds me.
And that's the way my show, Songs My Mother Taught Me, opens with her singing to me at 11 years old.
Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the stars behind me, and what you are.
I mean, really, this legacy, this unbelievable legacy, to have this burden on your shoulders, to continue this legacy, she had to do it in her own time, and she had to make it her own, which is what this, at this age, and what this show does.
Oh, how she shines, shines on and on, as I will shine for those
Were Liza and I really close as kids? Really close? No, not really, because we had nothing in common together, okay?
There's the age difference.
But the older you get, the closer you get, okay? And the older you get, you become equal. And that's what's really important. And now there's no real age difference, okay, because we're both adults. But we have now in common the fact that we have gone through that and we keep going. And that's what's really important, is the fact that you will always keep going and you will
always know that that support is there. It's always there. Come here. Come here. It's always there.
But I love you.
I love you more than I could possibly tell you. And if you make me cry, I will kill you, because I'm supposed to be the older sister.
Okay, well then don't cry. But I do.
Looked after each other, and our mother looked after us the very best she could. And that was a very strong, wonderful woman who was born with a disease that is devastating.
When you have the disease of alcoholism and drug addiction in your home, it's like having a tornado in your living room. My mother was signed to MGM. So when my mother was starting to get a little bit heavy at the age of 12 and 13, the studio doctor thought, what would the harm in being putting her on Benzedrine? Brand new pill, everybody was taking it, truck drivers, writers, everybody was, what could be the harm? Well, we know now what the harm was.
That's how it started.
That's how it started. And I never blamed MGM because I can't blame ignorance. I can't blame them for, I mean, we know now. But they didn't know. They had no idea. They had no idea about the word addiction or disease.
The problem is that she and her generation didn't really get it was a disease. And their problem, I think, was that they felt they were being bad instead of just having a real disease. They thought they were being bad people.
I come from, I am one of those children of alcoholics too, and I really do believe that when you are a child of an addictive or alcoholic, either you go towards it or away from it. And Lorna and I both went away from it. But if you can get past all of that, and the only way you can is if there really is love somewhere in the middle of all of that insanity. And there was for me, and I know there was for Lorna. That is what can get a kid through all of that.
Your parents were alcoholic. What age did you find out about it?
I was about 12. I had to step over them in the hallway.
On both of them?
Yeah.
But what's amazing is that when we go through that, it gives us our fiber. So I became the caretaker. And that's a role that I would love to say will never happen again, but I can't say that. Because right now, there is some 12, 13, 9-year-old person putting their drug-addicted parent to sleep right now. It doesn't stop. I was at a girlfriend's house, and her mom had to tell me. First, she wouldn't let me turn on any of the televisions, the radio, and then she sat down and she told me. And it was shocking, and I didn't believe it. And then, of course, I went home and knew it was true. My mom passed away in London. So it just sort of became this whirlwind of a week and a half of sort of like living in an out-of-body experience. You know, I look at pictures sometimes of news shots of the funeral. I have